is All India Radio. Please stand by for our next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Hindu, in its editorial titled A Welcome Verdict, says the trial court verdict finding 3 men guilty of the horrific gang rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl in Jammu and Kashmir's Kathua district last year must be seen as the victory of justice over communal propaganda. It is the answer that due process has given to sectarian interlopers who sought to derail the investigation and trial by projecting the heinous crime against a girl belonging to the nomadic Bakerwal tribe as a plot to implicate Hindus. It is also a triumph for the justice system as the Pathankot District and Sessions Court has lived up to the faith reposed in it by the Supreme Court last year when the case was transferred from J&K to Punjab for a fair trial. The larger takeaway is that efficient investigation, diligent prosecution and judicial sensitivity can ensure speedy justice in all cases and more particularly in cases of ghastly crimes that cause widespread revulsion and outrage. It is indeed a judgment that will inspire confidence in the justice system. The Indian Express, in its editorial titled Listen to Him, writes, the Indian economy may have grown at an annual rate of just around 4.5% during 2011-12 to 2016-17, according to an article written in this newspaper by Arvind Subramanian. This figure is much lower than the official estimate of 7% for the same period. The growth over estimation of 2.5 percentage points is significant not only for its coming from the former chief economic advisor, but also for the fresh questions it raises over the new methodology followed in computation of GDP. Subramanian has consciously sought to steer away from any political controversy by pointing out the fact that the period for this analysis covers both the UPA's second and the NDA's second government. Moreover, the shift in methodology from a predominantly volume-based to a value-based measurement of GDP to better capture qualitative changes in a modern dynamic economy were initiated under the UPA regime, resulting in a bump up of growth in its last year 2013-14. In other words, nothing political should be read into Subramaniam's piece, which provides a strong case for a relook of the new GDP estimation process as well as the high growth assumptions guiding policy making in the last few years. Subramaniam's analysis should help generate useful debate over the current methodology for computation of GDP. The CSO should as a first step invite independent economists and statisticians to deliberate on it. The Economic Times, in its editorial titled For Aadhaar Without Restrictions on Use, says the RBI should extend the deadline for enforcing detailed Know Your Customer norms for payment wallets, and the government should expedite fresh legislation that would allow use of Aadhaar for purposes other than transfer of funds from the government. Alongside, the government should pass a rigorous data protection law that would strengthen India's hands in the ongoing international tussle over e-commerce and address the anxieties of those worried about the misuse of Aadhaar data. Aadhaar is too valuable a resource for the poor, the disempowered and the migrant to be left half-formed. A contingent difficulty in getting the law through an obstreperous upper house persuaded the government to present the Aadhaar bill as a money bill, truncating utilization of its full capacity. That deficiency should be removed and the poor empowered in matters financial with an unrestricted Aadhaar. The Financial Express, in its editorial titled Firepower, says the union government forcing 12 senior tax officials to retire because of misconduct and inefficiency is a step towards clean and effective bureaucracy. However, that the action comes almost a decade after the instances of misconduct were first reported is disappointing, especially given how serious the charges were, ranging from corruption and extortion to sexual harassment. Indeed, one of the 12, a top-ranking official, had allegedly acquired 12 crore rupees of unaccounted for assets and had remained suspended from 1999 to 2014. In the interim, he had initiated over 40 legal cases to thwart action against him and had most recently moved to High Court to force the centre to appoint him as a member of the Central Board of Direct Taxation. Quite a few of the sacked tax officials had engaged high-profile lawyers who charged fat fees. Contrast this with the case of former Coal Secretary H.C. Gupta, who had once submitted that he would have to fight his case in the coal block allocation scam from jail as he could not afford the advocate's fee. He later withdrew the submission, reportedly with friends and well-wishers pitching in to help. Those were the comments from the press presented to you by the News Services Division of